This is a partial list of deaths at Zodiac, Texas from 1847 to 1850. 1847, Lyman Spencer Smith. 1858, William Bell. 1848, Sophia Wallace Leland Miller. 1848, Permelia Young. 1849, Sally Goodale Johnson. 1850, Clarissa Cornelia Smith. 1850, Sarah White. 1850, Minna White. 1850, Rosina Minerva White Miller. 1850, Amalona or Amahona Chipman. 1850, William Leyland Jr. 1850, William P. Eldridge. 1850, Otis Hobart. And Lyman White was buried here March 3rd, 1858.
Good morning. Good morning, friends. I'm going to use my tour guide voice. I hope you can hear me okay. Everybody hear me okay? Wonderful. Mel Johnson. He's not here. Oh. Mel Johnson sends his deepest regrets. Deepest regrets as it pains him not to be with us today. And I certainly wish that he was here with us to share of the sacred space. Fortunately, he has given me the tools and guidance needed to share on his behalf. So as we gather this morning and stand on the grounds of this historic cemetery, I invite you to take a moment to breathe in your surroundings and take in the Texas sunrise. As you look around and imagine what was once here so many generations ago, you can almost see Heman C. Smith walking these grounds in 1881 and reflecting on the significance of this historic and sacred space. Stepping onto these grounds brought on a mixture of emotions and feelings for him as he reflected on the past and searched for meaning in the present. As I read to you his account of standing where we are today, I invite you to imagine him here over 140 years ago. Heman writes, quote, "About 1/2 mile up the river and a little farther from the stream, we found the old graveyard, situated upon a beautiful spot gently sloping to the south and east. Here also is a growth of mesquite trees, also a luxuriant growth of mesquite grass. Nature has done much for this spot of ground, but to all appearances it's been forsaken by man. We could find the graves, but could not tell one from another. Our feelings were peculiar as we stood where once congregations of people had assembled to pay the last tribute of respect to those they loved. They whose tears were mingled here are scattered over thousands of miles. Some have found a resting place in distant lands. Some are with one faction of the church, some with another. Some have sunk in the cold, dark depths of infidelity. Wholesome are bewildered and know not where to go. May the enlightening, saving influence of God's love recover them all from apostasy and darkness, and may they move on in unity and love as before, but in a sure, safer way." He writes, "We could not refrain from the thoughts that this spot was a disgrace to the living. Here most of the company have relatives, and all have friends buried. Not a stone marks the spot, Not even a rose blooms over the graves of those we love. Long years have passed, and some of us can erect a monument for our relatives, but collectively we must do something yet." End quote. So, as we stand here on these historic grounds, one can't help but feel the pull that Heman C. Smith had to this place. He was tapping into both his historical and his spiritual roots, experiencing identity formation as he traced the footsteps of his ancestors on this Texas soil. Heman's words remind us of the transformative power that is embedded in these historic places. This cemetery, like so many historic places within the Restoration movement, continues to offer us rich insight and inspiration for people who are seeking an experience that transcends the mundane. This historic and sacred place is a living reminder to us, not of our theological divisions, but of the common ground we share as spiritual heirs of the Restoration. Heman's words serve as a reminder that the story of this place is just as much about the future as it is about the past, recognizing that there is a significant power, both intellectually and spiritually, that we encounter at historic landmarks, whether on the banks of the Mississippi River in Nauvoo or the rolling hills of Iowa, that offer church history pilgrims like us the opportunity to not only capture a cool sunrise morning like this, but also offers us a connection between the past and the implications for the present. Places where history seekers like us are encouraged to ask the difficult questions and experience the depth and meaning of our shared history. What Heman Smith discovered that day in 1881, surrounded by family and fellow descendants of those buried here on these historic grounds, is that what makes this place important is not just the stories we tell here as we share this time together, but rather the lessons that are embedded within those very stories. Lessons so powerful that they could change our lives, that they could improve our lives if we only listen. Such is the power of history, and such is the power of this historic space. So as we embrace the dawn of a new day here in Texas, I'll close with a few words from Grant McMurray, a founding member of the John Whitmer Historical Association and a former president of Community of Christ. What he writes is recorded in the Community of Christ Doctrine and Covenant section 162, but I feel that they capture the essence of our shared heritage in this place. And he writes, "Listen carefully to your own journey as a people, for it is a sacred journey, and it has taught you many things you must know for the journey yet to come. The spirit of the Restoration is not locked in one moment of time or one place, but is instead the call to every generation to witness to essential truths in its own language and form. Let the Spirit breathe." Thank you.